So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Will, for speaking. It's great to have you. I believe this is your first time speaking at one of our events, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So, yeah, it's great to have you at your first event, I guess. I'll just get right into this intro and then feel free to start.
Cool.
Will Greenblatt has been acting professionally since he was 7 years old. After graduating from the National Theatre School of Canada in 2010, he took a hiatus from acting, moving to Spain to teach English and then co-founding an ESL and business coaching company in China. After returning, he co-founded OutLoud Speakers School, a team of actors teaching public speaking, communication skills, and pitch coaching. OutLoud's clients include Google, ICBC, Tories, and Wayfair, and collectively have raised over 65 million USD in investment. Will travels all over the world coaching individuals and companies, helping entrepreneurs and professionals speak with more passion, clarity, and confidence. Good luck with your presentation today, Will, and thanks again for speaking today.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me here. So I don't know if I have anyone here in there yet. I might give a couple people some time to come on in. I think as far as I know, it's just me and Alex here. But I'll just take the conversation over from Alex and say, my name is Will Greenblatt, and I am the founder of OutLoud Speakers School. So I'm going to give a minute or so to let anybody else come in and make sure they find the room okay. And then if not, I'll just start the presentation for the recording, the people watching the recording at home. Writing that if anyone has any questions, please write them in the chat. Or even take yourself off mute and interrupt. So hi, everyone. I'm just going to start now. My name is Will Greenblatt from OutLoud Speaker School, and today we are talking about owning the Zoom room, although I think the title may have been slightly misleading. It's not so much about Zoom as it is about video conferencing, how to communicate virtually in the same way and with the same impact and maybe even more impact as we used to communicate in person. Of course, we can't do that anymore, so it's not so much about what the platform is, whether Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or Hopin or any of these multi-faceted tools that are available to us, but it's really about good speaking skills. And good speaking skills are useful in person, of course, but they're also even more useful when you're virtually separated from everybody else. So who am I? I just want to give you a very brief intro to me and my story, and then I'll get into the content. My name is Will Greenblatt, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of OutLoud Speaker School. OutLoud is an agency of actors, and we're actors who turned coaches teaching communication skills. This is based off our time at theater school and in the industry, going to auditions, being in plays, and being on film and television sets. Everything we learn about how to be a good actor, but also how to own a room or own a stage or own a film set, that's the kind of stuff that we put into this. I started the company with my co-founder, Nikki Guadagni. She's been a business coach for over 25 years doing the same sort of work, and I came to it via acting. Then I quit acting. I became a teacher in Spain and in China, as Alex told you, and then I came back and started this company. So we basically train professionals to be powerful speakers so that they can grow a business, they can make more sales, they can motivate a team, or they can impact a jury or get more trust from their clients or whatever it is that you need to do as a lawyer. You can do that more effectively through better speaking skills. We've kind of worked all over the world. We've got to work with over 2,000 individuals now, and we've got to work with some great companies, including Tories, which is a fantastic law society or law firm. So today is owning the Zoom room, but it's about speaking with passion and clarity online, which is the same as speaking in person, but even more important because we've got this technological barrier between you and the people. Right now, I can't see anybody who's watching this. I have to trust that there's a certain amount of paying attention going on, but I can do more than just trust it. I can earn it. I can earn it with the way that I'm speaking and the volume of my voice and the expressiveness of my hands, which we'll get into a little later. But first it's worth thinking about why are some people good speakers and they grab our attention and hold it, and other people's not, and other people are not, and other people, in fact, they can even annoy us or make us distrust them just from the way that they talk and carry themselves. So what do we see here? I'm going to check if anybody is in the room and to see if anybody can see this. What do we see here when we look at this slide? This to me is an ancient tribe of humans. Humans lived like this for most of our evolution. Even before we spoke language to one another, we lived in these tribes, small tribes of about 150 people, known as the Dunbar number, which is what they figured out most people tended to gather around in tribes of 150 people. This meant that tribes and your status within the tribe was super important to your survival and your reproduction, those strong evolutionary drives, right? This person telling a story right now and entertaining his tribe and passing along information was gaining status, and he was also sharing life-saving information through story to his tribe. These things that we depended on for survival, both collectively and individually, became baked into our DNA. So much so now that story is part of everything that we do, whether entertainment or work, and also the way people look at you and how you're communicating and what you're doing with your face and your body and your voice is deeply rooted in our DNA as we make decisions about who is trustworthy, who's likable, who's dangerous, who's attractive, and all these things that our mind is doing subconsciously. And now we are so far removed from that in terms of the way our societies are organized that we're now speaking on Zoom to people all over the world at any one given time. But the principles are still the same. What you do with your face, your body, your voice, your hands, your words, and the tone that you strike is super important to people making decisions like, do they believe what you're saying? Are they swayed by your arguments? Do they want to confide in you and trust you? Do they want to hire you? If they do hire you, are they going to stay with you? All of these sorts of decisions that you as lawyers hope to, the decisions that you want from juries and judges and clients, you want them to think about you favorably and with thoughts like this person is reliable, this person is trustworthy, this person is likable, charming, good at their job, organized. And you can achieve that just with the way that you talk to them by understanding these principles. But the problem is this isn't taught very well. It's either taught very surface level, like be more confident, use your hands, or it's taught by psychologists and it's way overly technical and scientific. So the main thing to think about is you want to think like an actor. At theater school, one of the first things they tell you to do is go to a park bench and sit there with a notebook and watch the people walk by. How are they holding themselves? What's happening on their face and in their voice and with their body and their hands? If they're talking to each other, who's the dominant one and who's more submissive? If it's a couple, who's more into the relationship and who's less into it? Or have they, is this a new couple or is it not, right? How far along are they in their relationship? Basically, those are the kind of things you start to pay attention to because that's the kind of thing that is fodder for an actor's work. How can you be really, really specifically noticeable about all the different things that human beings do and then use that to tell the truth on stage and to give great, mesmerizing, powerful performances. So I'm going to teach you a framework of how you can start to notice other people's behavior and your own and even adjust that. I'm just going to check in with my audience to see if I have anyone live here. Do we have anyone live? Yes, we have so many people live. I just want to say welcome to everyone. And tell me, what do you see here when I show you this image? Is everybody still seeing this image? What are your speech settings? Just write in the chat, yes, if you can see this. Yeah, we still good? Yes, okay, fantastic. So does this image suggest anything to anyone? All these little sliders moving up and down. What does that look like to anyone? Can anyone guess what that is sort of reminiscent of? Just write it in the chat if you have a guess as to what this image represents. Like a soundboard from Michael Donsky. That's exactly right. It's like a soundboard or audio settings from Brian. Thank you. It's a way of adjusting like a sound engineer or a DJ would do, adjusting the different elements of their sound. So a DJ could raise the volume or they could put down the compression and change the overall aesthetic, what the song sounds and feels like, and make it sound almost completely different. And you can do the same thing with the way that you speak, but it starts with just becoming aware of these different settings, what they are, and how you can start to control them and what those different controls and adjustments in controls communicate to an audience. So I'm going to take them one by one. The first one we have is volume. Everybody knows what volume is, right? How loud you are or how soft you are. And a 10 would be up here because all of them have a maximum of 10 and a minimum would be down here. Like ASMR, those weird videos. My wife watches these things where people eating or talking and whispering into a microphone. But if that's your thing, no problem. And then we have pace. Pace is next. Do we have pace or pitch? Sorry, pitch is next. Pitch is how high or how low you speak. high up here. This tends to communicate sort of excitement and joy and curiosity and wonder, but it can be a little childish and maybe silly. But if we go down here, this can be kind of confidence and authority, but it can be a little boring and flat. So again, we want to pay attention to what these communicate and sort of find our own place amongst these extremes. We have pace, how fast we are speaking or how slowly we are speaking. Notice that we also don't have to have fixed settings. I can speed up sometimes when I want to gain some energy or gain some momentum, and I can slow down when I want to emphasize something or when I want to change the energy in the room. Next up, we have clarity. How clear are you being when you are speaking? Up here would be a 10, ridiculously overpronounced, and 0 would be down here where you're not pronouncing anything, we barely understand what you're saying. Unfortunately, too many people fall below the 5 on this clarity setting. They fall somewhere under 5 because they think it sounds cool, or they're just used to underemphasizing. They don't want to sound pretentious or whatever that is. But unfortunately, it just sounds weak, or it sounds maybe untrustworthy, or it's just, we can't even hear it sometimes, especially when there is audio blocking right now. Like, we're not in the room, so we can't hear everything. We're on different sides of the speakers and the camera. I would love to have somebody hop off of their mute right now and put themselves on video if they would. And I want to start to look at some of these speech settings in real time, and we can adjust them. Would anybody like to come off and just give me your name and what you do, and I'll work with you on these speech settings? Would anybody volunteer to do that? If not, I'm going to pick on somebody and just choose a name. Alex, are they able to take themselves off mute and go on video? Brian, thank you so much. Okay, Brian Epstein is going to do it. Thank you, Brian. Everybody give him a round of applause. I don't know if you can hear it back there, but give themselves a round of applause. It's really, really awesome to hop on here. Brian, where are you at?
I'm right there.
Amazing. Nice to see you, Brian. And great session before mine. That was awesome.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. So, Brian, I'd love you to just say, my name is Brian Epstein, and then just give me your quick tagline or quick pitch for what you do.
My name is Brian Epstein. I'm a career coach and transition coach, helping people. I help people and businesses who are going through restructuring in organizations.
Great. So thank you, Brian. Everyone, round of applause again. It's really, really awesome to hop up here and volunteer yourself as a guinea pig. So one great thing I'm seeing, Brian, is a really nice slow pace. Not slow in a boring way, but slow in a really, really clear and understandable pace. I don't feel deceived. I don't feel like you're trying to cram a bunch of jargon past me. I feel like you're trying to take care to really help me understand what it is that you do. And when he speaks at that slow pace, we can really settle into the reality of his words. If he says, hi, my name is Brian Epstein, and we do blah, 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 we just get lost in the morass of jargon or things that we might not understand. But when we slow down, like Brian's doing, we really can feel what he's saying. Now, Brian, what I'd love to try is an adjustment. Your pitch is sitting somewhere nice and low. You've got that sort of typical male thing, which is we sit at a low pitch naturally, right? But that can be limiting. It's not wrong, but it can be limiting. I want to see what happens if you take your pitch from, like, let's say a 3 or a 4 where you naturally sit, and put it up to a 9. Okay. Like, literally exaggerate it way up here and see what that does.
Okay, my name is Brian Epstein. I'm a career coach and transition coach, and I help organizations who want to help their own people who are going through some restructuring, downsizing in their organizations.
Amazing. Well done. You really threw yourself into that. The reason I said 9 is because most people are really shy and they only go up like 1 or 2. So I have to make them exaggerate and then they get there. But you really did go up almost to a 9, which is fantastic. I want you guys to write in the chat, what kind of adjectives would you use to describe him after you just heard him speak like that? What kind of person do we hear when he speaks the second time? Just write it in. Does he sound energetic, confident? What do we hear when we heard him the second time? Just waiting for some chat. Anyone? What do we hear from Brian? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Alex, are you? Okay, if nobody has any opinions, I'm just going to come in with it, Brian. I heard excitement. More energetic. Thank you, Milan. I hear excitement. I hear passion. I hear clarity in terms of the confidence of what you do, and we have some energy. So Brian, one thing that would be really interesting for you to start to think about is, okay, I'm already communicating authority with my deep pitch. I'm already communicating confidence, which is great. Maybe I can also add on top of my natural tendencies for that excitement, energy, passion, curiosity, and that will just kind of lift you up. You don't have to worry about sounding silly or childish or unconfident because you have those in spades, right? But on top of that, you can add energy and you know, all that kind of crackling excitement just from that one speech setting adjustment. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much. You can hop off whenever you feel like it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so those are basically the speech settings, although the ones I didn't get to were inflection. Inflection is the up and downness of your voice. It's how much your voice moved. Brian also had a really nice inflection. I'd say he was at like a 5 or a 6, meaning how much your voice is moving in pitch. If your voice is moving not at all and you're a robot, then you're at 0 for inflection. But if it's too much, your voice is moving too much, then you sound like a radio DJ or you sound like a used car salesman. And nobody trusts a radio DJ or used car salesman because they're not being authentic, and we can sense that in their voice. Thank you, Milan, for clapping for Brian. That was really awesome. Last 2, really important for Zoom, Hop-In, Google Meets, is physical expression and facial expression. We have so little of our bodies that are accessible when we're on virtual conferencing. The only reason I have this much is because I have a widescreen camera, but some of us don't even have that. And all we really have is just our head and a bit of our shoulders. So what I always say is get your hands up here and start bringing your hands in to gesture and to emphasize and to show what it is that you're talking about. If you notice the difference between me speaking like this, hey everyone, so nice to be here with you and thanks for coming, versus, hey everyone, it's really nice to be here and I'm so excited to talk to you all today. I'm going to talk about 3 really important things and it's going to be an overall huge success. You know, as I start to talk like this and put my hands into it, it's almost like a little puppet show. It just makes it more interesting and dynamic. So if you can get your hands up there, it doesn't have to be big and showy, but just take them from under the screen and just start to use them. It will just look more emphatic and passionate, like you're engaged. And the last one is facial expressiveness. All we have is our hands, our voice, and our face. So use your face. Don't let go of that one of those big 3 things that you can use to tell people who you are and convince them. So if your face is like this, hi everyone, thanks for coming, or hi everyone, and thank you for coming. Just the eyebrows being raised, the smile, showing people how you feel about what you're saying on your face. As lawyers, you have to talk about some pretty serious shit sometimes. Excuse my language. But you do, right? That's just the truth. If you cannot convey any emotion, any emotional connection to what you're saying, people will not trust you as much. They've done studies about this. People who can show both with nonverbal and verbal cues that they're connected to the words they're using so that they're matching with their face and their voice and their hands with the meaning of what they're saying, we trust them more. This is called congruence, and it comes from Dr. Morabian. If your voice and your face and your hands show the seriousness or the happiness or whatever emotion that your words are talking about, people will be more likely to trust you. So those are the speech settings, and I'm going to share this slide deck with anybody who wants it. I can organize that through Alex later, but start to use these speech settings to think like an actor and to look at different people and see how's their volume. Is it at a 10 or a 0 or where in between? And what does that make me think about this person? Does it make me like them? Does it make me not? And if they did this, you know, what would that make me think? And then also start to watch videos of yourself and mark your own speech settings. And that's how you will become more aware of this. Great. So the next thing we're going to go to is what? Oh, sorry. Before we move on from there, I really want to make this point. This is a quick hack you can do with the speech settings. In general, people are not loud enough, slow enough, clear enough, or expressive enough when I work with them. Doesn't matter if they're lawyers, fitness professionals, entrepreneurs, or salespeople. Salespeople maybe sometimes, but in general, people need to be louder, slower, clearer, and more expressive. So even if you think you're being loud enough, maybe just nudge up the speech settings a little bit. Even if you think you're going slow enough, still take some moments to slow down, especially when it's really important what you're saying. And clarity. How can you speak clearly? We have these microphones and some people have really bad speakers on their other end. So you really want to enunciate your words so that people can really hear what you're saying and feel the truth of it and feel the power of it. And more expressive. Just use your hands, get your face going, get your eyebrows going, smile when it's appropriate, and show some emotion, negative emotion when that's appropriate, when you're discussing something serious or problematic, right? So that is a quick hack that we can do. The final thing that I want to tell you about today is, or I want to show you today, and then I want to do some more interacting, and I'll see if I can pull up another volunteer, is what I call the golden rule. Now, all of these speech settings is bringing you to what I call the golden rule. And the golden rule of speaking is this. Every time you're talking, you have two jobs: make them understand and make them care. If you do these two things, it does not matter if you stumble over a word. It does not matter if you mess up your papers and you're fumbling for them and you can't find the paper right away. It doesn't matter if you have a coughing fit. It doesn't matter if you forget some statistics or numbers or whatever you were supposed to remember. If you make your audience understand and you make them care, then you've given yourself the most amount of the highest chance of success to achieve your goals. Whether that goal is swaying a jury, convincing people that your client is innocent or that they deserve something, or convincing a client to hire you in the first place. Whatever your goals are from your audience that you're speaking about, this is the golden rule. And you give yourself the highest chance of success for that goal when you make them understand and make them care. That's what the speech settings are for. You practice the speech settings at home and work on them, and then you implement when you are speaking, in the moment of speaking, when you're actually face-to-face with someone on Zoom. Just think, make them understand, make them care, louder, clearer, more expressive, right? And then that's the only objective you have in your mind, and it just kind of simplifies things, because you don't want to be thinking, oh, volume 7 and then, pace 3 and then pitch 8. You don't want to do that. You want to just focus on make them understand and make them care. Now, the last thing I want to share with you today is a warm-up. Now, this is something at OutLoud that we say, always warm up before you speak. No athlete would dream of going into a big game without warming up. No actor would dream of going on stage without warming up. And you should never get on Zoom, especially in any big situation where it's really important what you're talking about, without warming up. And I'm going to show you how to warm up right now. So, if everybody, wherever you are, I can't see you, so this is going to work on the honor system. Stand up and do what I do and follow along. This is how to very quickly warm up for a big conference, a big meeting, or a big Zoom trial that you have. And of course, you do this off camera, but I'm going to show you on camera how to do this. So first thing you do is you close your eyes and you just start to breathe. And notice how your body feels. For so much of the day, we spend it sitting down and we get completely disconnected with our body. We're just in our heads and we're just using our mouths to speak and our eyes to look and our brains to think. But we're not connected with our lower body and our core and our pelvis and our hips and our legs and all this stuff that's down below. But we always say in OutLoud that speaking is a physical act. You want to reconnect with your physical body. Next thing you want to do after you kind of check in with your body is breathe into your belly. Breathing into your belly is how to create diaphragmatic breathing. If your chest is expanding like this, your voice is going to be constrained. Your belly has to expand so your diaphragm can descend and your lungs can truly fill up with air. Breath is the fuel of the voice, and the more breath you have, the better your voice will sound. So we breathe into the belly and then breathe out. Put your hands on your belly to make sure that it's expanding as you breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. After doing that a few times, you're going to make this sound as you breathe out. Breathe into the belly, and then you make this sound. Now, that may feel really ridiculous, and it may seem really annoying to your wife or your husband or your kids or your dog or whoever's in the room with you, but that doesn't matter. As long as you're not totally disturbing them, I want you to make this sound. And see how loud and full and how much breath you can put into the sound. I'm going to give you guys all one more time so you can hear how it sounds and try to repeat after me. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. I trust you guys were all doing that very, very enthusiastically. Okay, now you can sit down again, and we're going to do something to wake the face up. Remember, I said facial expressiveness is part of the speech settings. So we're doing an exercise called big face, small face. Big face is you're at an airport halfway across the world, and you see your best friend from your hometown. So you go like that. And small face is you're 3 years old and your mom told you you can't have another cookie. So you go like this, squish your face forward. So we go back and forth. Follow along with me. Big face, small face, big face, small face, big face. Open your eyes, eyebrows, small face, squish everything together. Big face, small face, big face, small face, big face, and shake it out. Good. I like to massage my face muscles. You can feel the blood flowing. I like to slap myself in the face a little bit, wake it up, especially in the morning or after lunch when I'm tired. And the final things we do are tongue twisters. So we do tongue twisters to get our lips and tongue going so that we can bump up the clarity. So we say unique New York. Everyone repeat. Good. I hope you all did it very well. Unique New York. Good. We want to over-exaggerate the pronunciation because this is like working out with heavy weights. Once we drop the weights, we're going to be a lot stronger. Unique New York. Good. Next one is red leather, yellow leather. That's a really hard one. Everybody. Red leather, yellow leather. Good. We also want to string them together so that we say it like 3 times in a row, but we don't want to lose clarity. So we go red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Repeat. See if you can do it. Great. Fantastic. And last one, to get the jaw open and to get the voice really, really warmed up there, we're going to breathe into our bellies and say, how now, brown cow? Repeat. Good. Breathe in. How now, brown cow? Good. One more time. Breathe in. Loudest sound you've made. How now, brown cow? Good. Okay. We don't have much time left. I want to see if we can get one more volunteer to introduce themselves, and we'll work on some of the things we worked on. And then I want to take some questions real quick, and then we can call it a day. So let's get a volunteer. Naima, would you offer to volunteer, or anyone else? If you want to volunteer, just say, okay, Naima's going to do it. Naima, please take yourself off mute and hop on here. We're going to give her a second to get on. Hey, Naima, nice to see you. And that was such a great presentation that you did before.
I wish I got the exercises.
I know. That's why you got to do it beforehand. That's why you warm up, because it gets you nice and loose and ready to go. So, Naima, I want you to tell me your name, your company, and what you do.
My name is Naima. I'm the founder of Social Sherpa. I am a passionate digital marketer.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Everybody can see how good her speech settings are, right? Warmth. She's smiling. Her eyebrows are raised. She's got fantastic volume. Her pace is a little fast, but it actually works for her personality. You know, Naima, like you have that really energetic personality. And I think it's similar to mine in that sense. And, you know, you have a lot of ideas and you have a lot of enthusiasm, and the fast pace actually works for that. So what I want to do, though, is just to give you the sense of slowing down, because this is what I work on for myself as well. I want you to do it and just take your pace down from, let's say it's a 7 now, take it down to a 2. And just see what that does for you. Keep everything else, the great warmth, the great volume, the great pitch, the great facial and physical expressiveness, but just 3 for a pace. Yeah?
Okay. My name is Naima. I'm the founder of Social Sherpa. I am a passionate digital marketer.
Very nice. Okay. And again, I'm so used to people never going all the way. So you went all the way. So of course we find that maybe that's a little slow. But what's really interesting when you start to do this work is see if you can do it that slow for pace, but make it more intentional. So the reason that you're slow is not because my speaking coach told me to, but because it's for a reason. Whether that reason is to make people remember it, or to make them really think about it, or let them keep up, or maybe we're talking to a room full of seniors. I saw someone here works with seniors and does senior law. Seniors actually need the information that slowly because they process it slower. So Naima, I want you to do that and see if you can integrate it. See if you can make it like for a real reason. Yeah?
My name is Naima. I'm the founder of Social Sherpa. I am a passionate digital marketer.
Amazing. So once she tries it the first way, it feels really weird, right? When you first try something that's against your habits, but then you think about it and go, I should never be using the speech settings just to use them. It should always be to achieve a goal. What is my goal when I'm speaking? I want to be understood and I want my audience to care. Moment to moment, eventually, once you do this work enough, you can think, what is my goal with this sentence? What is my goal with this next sentence? What is my goal with this next sentence? And you're constantly tuning into that as a performer and going, okay, my goal is to make them scared in this next sentence by this horrible thing that I'm talking about. If I want to scare them, my face has got to get serious and maybe I've got to use my hands. Now, if I want to comfort them and make them feel a little better, I'm going to throw it away and I can change up my speaking settings like this. But then I've got to warn them about something, but not be too scary, right? And then you're constantly making micro adjustments to your speech settings. Now, that takes a lot of time, but if you commit to really paying attention to this stuff, eventually you'll be able to do that with master precision. And that's the kind of work that we teach. So Naima, thank you so much. I want to give myself some time for questions to anyone who has them. Bye, Naima. Thank you. So if anyone has any questions, I know we're almost at time, but I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has. Feel free to write them in the chat. Any questions about the speech settings? Any questions about communicating through this technology? How about when selling to someone? Thank you, Danny. That's a great question. So, Danny, are you a salesperson or a lawyer, or what's your role? Salesperson. So, Danny, what is your objective as a salesperson? What are you trying to get from a call? Obviously, you're trying to get a sale, but when does somebody buy in your experience as a salesperson? In what state of mind? They buy when they feel what way? They buy when they trust you. They buy when they feel excited. They buy when they feel scared. How do they feel, like, in your experience as a salesperson before somebody buys? Comfortable and trust. Okay, fantastic. To make somebody feel comfortable and to make them trust you, one big, as I said before, is trust means you have to have congruence between the words that you're saying, the tone of your voice, and the physical expression and the facial expression. If you're saying this is really, really difficult, show some empathy on your face and show, I know it's really difficult, and show a bit of eyebrows and show some sincerity that you know how difficult their lives are if you're talking about their problems. If you're trying to tell them about an exciting new piece of technology or an exciting service, show that it's exciting on your face. Whenever you're saying something to them, even when you're saying, hi, how are you? Really stop and think about that question. How are you? Too often, I work with salespeople, they do this. Hi, how are you? That's not a real question. That's a formality that we're throwing away. Meaning every single thing that you say and slowing down so you can actually think about what am I saying here is a great way to earn trust. And then being comfortable, you can also think about, maybe a bit of a lower pitch. Making jokes is great to establish comfort, but making jokes that are not for a purpose. So you want to think about your speech settings kind of coming down. If you want them to feel comfortable, then maybe going a bit quieter is better. Maybe and maybe going a bit slower so they feel like they can really understand everything. So that's a really, really good question. How to improve presentation in an online room without interaction or knowing who's in the room. So that's a great question, Naima. And Danny, I hope I answered that question properly. So, for example, if you don't know who's in the room and you don't know if anybody's paying attention, then you kind of have to operate on a wing and a prayer. But as I said, the most important thing to do is to demand attention and to grab attention. Be undeniably interesting. There's a lot of times where you guys weren't answering the questions just now. And if, in my earlier days before I did, became confident in this work, I might have gone, oh shit, nobody's answering. They're not paying attention. Maybe all their screens are off. Maybe nobody's been listening to me for the past half hour. But because of the work that I do, I had to trust that what I was doing was getting through to people. And absolutely need interaction in your presentation and nobody's interacting, that can be really difficult, but you should prepare for that. And know, okay, if nobody answers, then I supply the answer myself. Or if nobody volunteers, then I move on, right? So it's very important to have a fail safe if nobody answers within a certain amount of time. And it's very important to trust that your audience is there and paying attention to you, even if you can't see them, or even if, if you're in full screen presenter mode, you often can't see anyone. So you just have to continue to smile and pretend that they're smiling back at you. Does that make sense? If there's, I can take one more question, I think. And Alex, am I good to still take questions? So the last thing I'll leave you with, I guess, at that point, if nobody has any more questions, I'm going to put a link in the chat. I'm running a public speaking online course based on a lot of this stuff. It's 3 weeks. It's 1 hour every Tuesday evening for 3 weeks, and I'm doing this every month. The first one is already going, but the second one is up now. I think we're starting on March 9th, I believe. Or March 2nd. I can't quite remember what, but if you follow this link, you'll see there. We work a lot with entrepreneurs and salespeople, but we also work with professionals of all sorts. Thank you, Naima. March 9th. We work with professionals of all sorts, and it's really about developing your confidence and developing your passion and your clarity, kind of like what we talked about today, but also virtually. I'm seeing another question from Danny. How about when some are confrontational and they want you want to win their trust? So staying patient and calm when someone is confrontational is really key, but sometimes that can seem patronizing. So if, you get this sometimes with telemarketers, if they call you and you're like, what, stop calling me. I don't want to be on your phone call list. And they go, I understand how that feels. And you're like, oh, shut up. Because you can hear in their voice, they don't mean it. You want to try to treat everybody like a person in their own right, not like a sale, not like a prospect. So you have to think about, what do they want? This gets into the deeper thing about making a sale. What do they want? Well, if they're in your target market, then you should know what they want. You should know the problems that your company solves and be super clear on that. And one thing that I didn't get to talk to today, although we cover in this course, I'm just going to show it real quick, is the 5 main human concerns, or the big 5 pain points. And I'm just going to share this super quick. And these are time, money, physical health, tribe, like your family or your community, and emotional well-being. So that's what they are here. Time, money, health, tribe, emotional well-being. If you can speak to people's problems in at least 2, but better 3 areas of these big 5, then you will have their attention. Now, maybe they won't be ready to buy from you. Maybe they'll have problems. Sorry, I'll stop screen sharing there. Maybe they'll still have problems like they don't have the budget for it. They don't have the time to do it. But if you can talk to somebody who's confrontational and say, listen, I understand you're upset, or I know that maybe this, sucks to get these cold calls, but I think we can help you achieve this thing in your life. And I just want to give you a chance to get to know about this product or get to know about this service. And then eventually you just got to hang up because, if they're too confrontational, you can't win their trust. But if they're confrontational and say, listen, I can help you with this big problem that will save you time, money, stress. This will make your life better. Then often you can turn that person from confrontational into trust. So really showing that you're there to help people and not to make sales so your commission can go up, that's a really big shift to make as a salesperson. Just say, I want to help you achieve A, B, and C, and I think my service can do that. If not, that's totally fine. Sorry for bothering you. Yeah? Does that make sense, Danny? Okay, amazing. If there's no last questions, I'm happy to keep taking questions, but I also want to respect everyone's time. I don't know if there's anything going on the stage. Alex, I know I was only supposed to go to 3:30, but let me know if I'm cutting into anyone else's time or anything like that. Any more questions? Best way to contact me. Great question. I'll put it I'll put my email in here, will@outloudnow.com. You can email me here. Also, there is a link. You can just go right ahead and book a free Zoom chat with me to discuss whatever it is that you're working on, anything you'd like to improve in your public speaking, communication, storytelling skills. You can just book a time with me here. And then there's also that powerful pitch course. You can go check it out. There's some videos and some descriptions about what my company does there as well. Or you can just find me on LinkedIn. And my LinkedIn is connected and my website is connected to my profile here. But maybe I may as well just add those just so everybody has them. Bear with me 1 second. There's my website, and on LinkedIn, going to add that now. Apologies. Boom. Okay. Thank you so much. Alex, do you want to take over from here and let people know where they should be or what are the next steps? And before Alex hops on, I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to this and for watching. It's been a real pleasure. And thanks, Alex and Mark, for having me. This has been really, really fun.
Hi, Will. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I just wanted to come on and thanks for speaking today. It was a really great presentation, really interesting and engaging.
Thank you.
I had a lot to learn. I obviously am involved in public speaking now with these events and stuff, so it's definitely really helpful for me.
That's great.
I wanted to say thanks for speaking. It's great to have you. And just to let everyone know, so our panel is actually live now. It's been live for about 5 or so minutes, so that's over on the stage. And this is the final session for today, so everything else will be just on the main stage or networking or expo. But thanks again, Will. It's great to have you speaking at our very first event that you've spoken at. And thanks for the contact info. That's great. So
thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.